The first thing I heard was the breathing, not mine. I had already gone still, holding my own breath so tightly it burned, but something else, slow, heavy, wet, like air being dragged through a throat that wasn't built for it. It came from just beyond the tree line, somewhere in the black wall of forest where the firelight couldn't reach. "Did you hear that?" Marcus whispered. Nobody answered him, because we had all heard it. The fire cracked, sending a spray of sparks upward into the cold night. For a second, the woods flickered, tall pines stretching endlessly, their trunks like pillars in some forgotten cathedral. And then the darkness swallowed everything again. The breathing stopped, and somehow that was worse. We weren't supposed to be out there. That's the part people always say afterward, like it explains everything. Like stepping off a marked-out trail somehow invites something ancient to wake up and start watching you. But at the time, it didn't feel like a mistake. It felt like an adventure. There were 4 of us, me, Marcus, Jenna, and Luis. We'd driven 6 hours north of Seattle, chasing a rumor Marcus found online about an abandoned fire lookout deep in Olympic National Forest. Supposedly, it hadn't been used in decades. Supposedly, people who hiked out there sometimes reported strange things. Of course, that's exactly why we went. 3 miles off trail, Marcus had said, grinning as he unfolded a printed map across the hood of his truck. No signal, no crowds, just us in the woods. "And whatever else is out there," Jenna added. Louise laughed. "Yeah, Bigfoot's gonna come tuck us in at night." I should have listened to the way Jenna didn't laugh. By the time we reached the trailhead, the sun was already dipping low. Golden light filtered through the trees, turning everything warm and harmless. Birds called overhead. The air smelled like pine and damp earth. Normal. Completely normal. We hiked for 2 hours on the main trail before Marcus veered off, pushing through a narrow break in the underbrush. "This is it," he said. "There's no path," I pointed out. "There doesn't need to be." That should have been the moment we turned back. But we didn't. The deeper we went, the quieter it got. At first, I didn't notice. It was gradual. The birds thinning out, the wind fading, even the sound of our own footsteps seeming muffled. "Why is it so quiet?" Jenna asked at one point. Louise shrugged. "Less animals out here, I guess." But that wasn't it. Even in the deepest woods, there's always something, a rustle, a chirp, the distant crack of a branch. Out there, nothing. It felt like the forest was holding its breath. We found the lookout just before dusk, or what was left of it. The tower leaned slightly to one side, its wood gray and splintered with age. The cabin at the top had shattered windows, jagged edges catching the last light of the sun. A rusted ladder ran up one side, disappearing into shadow. "Still standing," Marcus said, almost impressed. "Barely," I muttered. Luis stepped forward, grabbing the ladder and giving it a shake. It groaned, but held. "Only one way to find out." "I'm not sleeping up there," Jenna said immediately. "Relax," Marcus replied. "We'll camp down here." That was the plan. Set up tents, build a fire, maybe explore the tower a little before it got too dark. Normal camping stuff. Except nothing about that place felt normal. I noticed it first while we were gathering wood. There were no animal tracks. None. Not a single print in the soft earth around the tower. No deer, no rabbits, not even birds pecking at the ground. "Hey," I called out, "come look at this." Marcus crouched beside me, scanning the dirt. "Huh, that's weird, right?" "Yeah," he admitted. "Even remote areas have wildlife." Jenna hugged her arms. "Maybe they just don't come here," Louise snorted. "Or maybe we're overthinking it." But he said it a little too quickly. Night fell fast. 1 minute, the sky was deep blue. The next, it was black. We built a fire and sat around it, the flames casting flickering shadows across the trees. The tower loomed above us, its silhouette cutting into the stars. "That thing's creepy as hell at night," Jenna said. "You want to go up?" Marcus asked. She shot him a look. "Absolutely not." Louis grinned. "I'll go," before anyone could stop him. He grabbed a flashlight and started climbing. "Dude, be careful," I called. The ladder creaked under his weight. Each step sounded louder than it should have, echoing into the woods. Halfway up, he paused. "You guys feel that?" He said. "Feel what?" Marcus asked. Louise didn't answer right away. "It's colder up here." I frowned. "What do you mean?" "Like really cold." "Just get up there," Marcus said. "Stop being dramatic." Louise hesitated, then kept climbing. We watched as his flashlight beam disappeared into the cabin above. For a few seconds, everything was quiet. Then, "Whoa, what?" Jenna called. There was a long pause, and then Louise said quieter now, "Guys, you should come see this." We didn't want to. Every instinct in my body told me to stay by the fire, to stay where it was warm, where it was bright. But curiosity won. It always does. One by one, we climbed the ladder. And the moment I reached the top, I understood what Louise meant. It was freezing, not just cold, wrong. The air inside the cabin felt dead, like it hadn't moved in years. My breath fogged in front of me. "What the hell?" Jenna whispered. The floor was covered in dust and debris. Broken glass crunched under our feet. Old furniture sat rotting in the corners. But that wasn't what we were looking at. It was the walls, covered in marks, deep gouges carved into the wood, running from floor to ceiling. Some were straight, others jagged, overlapping like something had been dragged across them again and again. "What made those?" I asked. No one answered. Luis moved his flashlight closer, tracing one of the grooves. "These aren't tools. He said they're too uneven." Marcus frowned. "Animals?" "Not any animal I know," Jenna said. I reached out, running my fingers along one of the marks. It was smooth, worn, like it had been made over time. Slowly, deliberately. And then I noticed something else. "Guys," they turned to me. "There are no marks near the door." They looked. I was right. Every gouge, every scratch, it all covered the walls, except the area around the entrance, like whatever made them had been inside and didn't want to leave. That's when we heard the breathing down below, right where we'd left the fire. Luis killed the flashlight. "Why'd you do that?" Marcus hissed. "Listen." We did. The breathing came again, louder this time, wet, ragged. Jenna's hand found mine, gripping tight. "Something's down there," she whispered. Marcus peered out the broken window, trying to see through the darkness. "I don't see anything," he said. "Maybe it's gone," Luis offered. But even as he said it, the breathing stopped, and a new sound took its place. A slow, deliberate step. Crunch, right on the forest floor below us. Then another. Crunch, circling the base of the tower. "Okay," Marcus said, his voice tight now. "Not funny." "Who's down there?" No answer. Just another step. Crunch. Jenna shook her head. We need to leave. Right now. And go where? Louise snapped. It's pitch black out there. Another step. Closer to the ladder. I forced myself to look down. At first I saw nothing. Just darkness. And then movement. Something shifted at the edge of the firelight. Too big to be a person. Too low to the ground. My stomach dropped. Marcus, I whispered. It's not human. He didn't respond, because he saw it too. The fire flickered again, and for a single second, the thing stepped into the light. I wish it hadn't. It was tall, but hunched, its back arched in a way that looked painful. Its limbs were too long, dragging slightly as it moved. Its skin, or whatever it had, looked pale and stretched tight over its frame. But its face, God, its face looked almost human, almost. Sunken eyes, a mouth too wide, hanging open just enough to let that horrible breathing spill out. And it was smiling. Jenna screamed. The thing's head snapped upward. It saw us. And then it moved. Fast. Too fast. It lunged for the ladder, its long arms wrapping around the wood as it began to climb. Go! Marcus shouted. But there was nowhere to go. We were trapped. Louise grabbed a broken piece of wood, backing away from the opening. If it gets up here, it's getting up here, Jenna cried. The ladder shook violently as the thing climbed. I could hear its breathing now, right beneath us. Feel it. Marcus, do something! I shouted. He looked around, wildly, then grabbed an old metal chair and dragged it toward the opening. Help me! We shoved it against the top of the ladder, trying to block the way. The creature hit it from below, hard. The entire tower shuddered. Another impact. Wood cracked. It's going to break through, Luis yelled. The breathing was right there now, just inches below us. And then, silence. Everything stopped. No movement, no sound. We froze. Did it leave? Jenna whispered. No one answered. Because deep down, we all knew it hadn't. A long, thin hand slid into view, gripping the edge of the floor, followed by another, and then, slowly, that face rising into the cabin, still smiling. I don't remember deciding to run. 1 second I was frozen, staring into those hollow eyes. The next, I was moving. We all were. Past the creature, past the ladder, throwing ourselves toward the far side of the cabin, where a section of the wall had collapsed. Jump! Marcus shouted. Are you insane? Jenna cried. There's no time. The creature let out a sound then, not breathing, not quite a scream. Something in between. Hungry. I didn't think. I jumped. The fall knocked the air out of me. Pain exploded through my legs as I hit the ground, rolling hard into the dirt. Above me, I heard more crashes. Marcus, Luis, Jenna following. Run! Someone shouted. We ran. Into the trees, into the dark. Branches tore at my arms. Roots snagged my feet. The forest blurred around me as I pushed forward, not daring to look back. But I could hear it. Behind us, moving through the woods, keeping pace. That wet, ragged breathing never getting any farther away. We didn't stop until we saw the trail. The real trail. The one that led back to the car. We stumbled onto it, gasping, barely able to stand. Keep going, Marcus said. Don't stop. We didn't. Not until we reached the truck. Not until we were inside, doors locked, engine roaring to life. As we sped away, I looked back one last time. Through the rear window. At the edge of the trees, something stood there, watching. Perfectly still, its smile just visible in the darkness. We never went back. We never told anyone exactly where that place was, but sometimes, late at night, I still hear that breathing right outside my window. Slow, wet, waiting, and the worst part, a few weeks later, Marcus sent me a message, just one line. They found the tower. I stared at my phone, my stomach twisting. What do you mean? His reply came almost instantly. It burned down, completely gone. I swallowed. Good. There was a long pause. Then, yeah, except my chest tightened. They found something in the ashes. I hesitated before asking. What? Another pause. Longer this time. And then, bones. But not ours. Not animal. And not just one. Dozens. All inside the cabin. All marked with deep, jagged grooves. Like something had been keeping them. And whatever it was, it's not in that tower anymore.